Hello everyone, Zombies Hyper 45 here. My last video, and this is a weird beginning, my last video was about the regions, the four regions within the United States. And just before I begin what I'm about to talk about now, just to let you know, some people would argue there's 5 regions. There's also the Southwest, but I was referring to the morals, so anyway. The morals of how they do things. So that's why I call it the West as a whole. Anyway, today I would like to talk about something people have probably never thought of in their lives, and I don't blame them because society would never tell you to do this. So here's what I plan to do in my life. As you know, I have very strict rules when it comes to college. I'm currently attending an online university, but I have very strict rules of how I would do college if I have to at all. I'm anyway. And obviously, with me attending this online college allows me to still talk to you guys, so I'm still enjoying myself. As I say in every video, or try to say, enjoy your life. It's what matters the most. And I didn't enjoy it when I was actually going to class in person and sleeping in the dorm and things that a lot of people enjoy. I didn't. So that's what happened. However, on to the topic I plan to discuss. However you may get to the point at which you decide it's time for you to leave your parents' house, because that's really what it is. I mean, I guess you could say it's your house, but it does belong to your parents. Eventually, you're going to leave and go try to make a life for yourself, or live on your own, or with someone, maybe a girlfriend or a friend of yours. It's a big step in your life, moving out, and it must it usually takes a lot of thinking of what you're gonna do or where you're gonna live. But I have a different idea than what most people have. See, most people, I'm pretty sure, would get an apartment wherever close to where they live, because that's probably where they have a job. And they do that for a few years. They live in an apartment somewhere where they live. I mean, that sounds simple and makes sense and all, but some of them have. But the thing that I wanted to get into is some of them have their issues. They can't figure out why they're having trouble paying rent and all this stuff, because I'm sure, God forbid, where I live, New York City, there's no way you could own an apartment. If you got just out of college, if you didn't, let me put it this way: if you didn't pay college yourself, I don't think you're buying an apartment in New York City or Los Angeles or Miami or wherever you are. You ain't doing it. So you rent it. I mean, as simple as that. You rent it, or you rent it and share it with someone. But here's what I have as an idea: rather than renting, paying a landlord for something you don't really own, there's a much simpler solution. Why don't you just buy an RV and use that as your house. I mean, until you can really, really get a house. You should never settle for renting. You should try to own something. Therefore, you don't really owe anyone any money once you buy it. All you owe is electricity and, you know, water bills and air conditioning. But it sounds crazy to most people I know. How would you live in an RV? It's so tight, everything. But I just think it's an amazing idea. I mean, one, you don't have to live, you don't have to settle to live one place. The world or the country, for that matter, can be your house. It just baffles me that no one's thought of this, especially at my age. I'm 19, but it's ridiculous. Why? How hard would it be in a few years? Because I'm gonna wait for a few years before I really pursue this idea. And once I've saved up enough money, and yes, I believe I can get that much. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. So that's a good motto in life. So after I've saved up enough, get a trailer or a motorhome, but I doubt it because they're really expensive. And get a pickup truck. Um, I'm gonna be living with a friend of mine. We're gonna chip into this. I mean that's the best way to do it. You don't always have to just settle for living alone either. I mean, if you have friends, people need to learn to live together too. It's another thing. But when you live in an RV, you realize there's no land tax. You don't you don't really own property. That's a lot of money saved. It's a lot of money saved. Because you bought the RV. I mean, maybe you spend more initially, but over time you'll save a lot. You, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm definite or almost definite that paying the nightly fee for an RV park is much cheaper than rent for after a month. And I believe monthly rates for RV parks go down the longer you. Well, no, what I mean is the monthly fee is cheaper than it would be to pay by the week for a month. So they even give you a discount if you stay there an extended period of time because I guess they appreciate it. It's a genius idea if you ask me, and anyone who is thinking about doing it should definitely do it. I think RVs are one of the most genius inventions in the world. Anything can that can move, that's technically like a house, is pretty cool to me. Okay, I mean, if there's a forest fire and your house is in the middle of the woods, what are you gonna do about it? Your house is pretty much history. If there's a tornado and you have a house, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Run, hide in somewhere. If your house is on the ocean and a tsunami comes or a hurricane, what are you gonna do about it? Run, I suppose. But your house is gonna get affected by it. Same with an earthquake. So now, what do you do if you have an RV? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You just move away from the disaster. And I mean, I guess some people would say easier said than done. It's still probably a better idea than it would still better be. It would definitely be a better result if you than staying. And I know an RV can get thrown around a lot easier than a house, if you know what I mean. A tornado would make sure it worked in an RV versus a house, but it wouldn't get the chance. You'd be long gone. Why not? I mean, yeah, house on wheels, genius. And there's also mobile homes. that's another alternative, but that's not what I'm going to be doing because that's. I also want something it's kind of like a vacation vehicle too, because RVs are known for vacationing, but God, they're underrated. I don't understand. In a week, there's going to be, because it's what is it, September 11th now. Yes, actually, it might have even began already. Yeah, probably did. There is every September there's the largest RV show in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Hershey Park, which last a few years ago had over 900 RVs. By now, they probably have over 1,000. The biggest RV show in the country and probably the world. I mean, well, duh. Most, yeah, it goes without saying that it's largest in the world. RVs are not nearly as popular anywhere else in the world as here. They were developed here. They remain to be by far the most popular here. But one thing I notice whenever I go to these shows or see them is their price. It's ridiculous. I mean, I feel like, and ridiculous in a good way. I mean, I feel like it should be 3 or 4 times the price it is. That could be because nobody's buying them, or because they have the money to make it cheap. Whatever the reason is, it's amazing. There are some that are really expensive, but the trailers, non-motorized RVs, they generally are underpriced, as I like to say. Of course, what is underpriced? It's whatever pricing is, whatever people want to pay for it. But I bet you people would pay more for these things if they were more. It's very odd. I've never felt that way nearly as to the extent I felt about RVs when it comes to pricing. Everything else I always felt their price was appropriate. And right, but these are underpriced. Simple as that. It seems that way anyway. Well, that's what I'll have to say about that, really, because it's up to the world to decide where they want to live and what they want to do. But and a good option to consider before you go get a house. No, live in an RV. Why not? Be crazy. You got to be sometimes. You'd meet a lot of good people too in the parks. A lot better than living in apartments with some people who you don't even know, or that you don't care to know or want to know. And going to hotels and not interacting with anyone. How about make your whole life a vacation? Try RVing. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Even as full timing at a young age. Genius idea. And it can't fail. As long as you keep a budget and you spend less than you make, with everyone who's in on it, because I plan to do it with a few people, it can't fail. So I hope to see a lot of other young RVers on the road in the years to come when I finally do this, which will be probably, maybe if I'm lucky, 21 or 22. That's 2 or 3 years from now, but I doubt it. Prove me wrong. Do it. You won't be sorry. And go see the RV show. I think you'll like it a lot. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching this RV dream for everyone that I have. And hopefully you'll make my dream for the whole country come true. Because everyone should do this. Anyway, this is Zombie Zyber 45, and I will see you